welcome to Teaching Without Technologies, your one-stop resource to finding lesson plans and activities that require absolutely no technology whatsoever. This particular activity is designed for students of English as a foreign language or students of English as a second language, since that is my primary demographic that I work with on a regular basis. But I can see this activity working for other classes as well. It is good for a warm-up or a cool-down if the class is not an EFL or ESL class, where students are targeting English as the means of kind of being able to communicate. And it's also good for a full-length activity if you are teaching in the EFL or ESL industry. So this activity can be used in a variety of ways for a variety of different demographics. The game is called Hit and Miss, and what I basically do is I break students up into sort of large chunks of 3 or 4. This activity really is designed for a larger group of students, say of about 15 to 20 students is usually a really good number for this game. I would not recommend this game for anything less than 11. And that would be really stretching it. So the game is called Hit and Miss, and I break the students up into groups. As you can see, this is group 1, and then we have group 2, and we have group 3, and then we also have group 4. And what I'll do is I will tell the students that they have to think of words, and if there's paper and pen, to write them down, or if you have individual whiteboards that the students can use, that also would work really well. I'll tell the students that they have to generate words, that they have to think of different words, and normally I'll give an example like animals and then give an example of an animal like dog, cat, mouse, zebra, and so on and so forth. And I'll tell the students that they have to think of as many words as they can. Each student has to write on the piece of paper somewhere. They all have to be participating or else they won't be able to accrue points, which of course is the purpose of this game. And once I've given the example, I'll define the words hit and miss, because typically in an EFL class, students do not know what the words hit and miss are. So here's hit and here's miss, just in case you're not familiar with these words. And what I'll say is, very simply, that hit means that everyone has the word, and miss means that nobody has the word. Now, if you're teaching in Korea, explaining the two words like that will probably work for you pretty well, especially if the students are in middle school to high school level. That should be pretty sufficient for an explanation. And of course, it will vary depending on the types of students you have, but you're going to want to feel this out either way just to kind of see where the students are with being able to take direction. So once I've given them the explanation, I will then give another modeling example. So I might pick a student in group 1, for instance, maybe over in this region here, and I'll say that I am Chris, for example, Chris being the student's name, and I will say that Chris says banana, just in case we're giving fruit as the category that students have to generate words from. And then I will point to each group that is next to group 1, of course, and I will say that group 2 has banana, group 3 has banana, group 4 has banana. Hit. And then I will say that the group 1 gets a point. Good job. Thumbs up. I'll gesticulate and say, very well done. And then to articulate miss, I'll do the exact opposite, of course. So I will then point to another student to try to get other students involved and engaged in what I'm trying to explain. And I will say that Michael says, for example, kiwi. And then I'll say group 1 does not have kiwi, group 2 does not have kiwi, and group 3 does not have kiwi. Oh, that's a miss. They get points. So the students by now know the object of the game. At this point, I might introduce dice, but you don't have to use dice for this game. If you want to use dice, you can allocate each number on the die to be either a hit or a miss, have the different group members roll the die, and basically choose based on whatever number they get. Or you can simply have the students take a bet and have them decide, for themselves if hit or miss will give them the most points. You can even vary the number of points that each group gets based on what category they choose, or whether they choose hit or miss. So this game can go in many different directions, and it's typically very kind of exciting for the students because they can, challenge each other, they can bet, they can see how much they know, they can look up other words to add to their arsenal of things that they can launch at other groups to show them that, we can think of words that you won't know. And so it does promote kind of some fun competition, and because the students are in groups, no one is put on the spot necessarily, so it actually does promote group work and sort of group camaraderie as well. Like I said, this can be done for many different classes. It could be a history class where you're testing students on history facts, or it could be a math class where you put a math problem on the board, or students generate their own math. So it can go many different ways. So anyway, if you have any questions about this activity or any other activities, do not hesitate to contact me at teachingwithouttechnologies@gmail.com. And don't forget the 2 T's in the middle there. That's very important to reaching me. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this video, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next installment of Teaching Without Technologies.